Hi, my name is Ashna and I'm the founder of Naturally Grounded. I've been wanting to do these video series for a while, mainly because of the conversations I've been having with people. I think that over our lives, we have accumulated, including myself, I had accumulated, probably still have accumulated a lot of information that I have spent the majority of my life unlearning. And I think there's a lot of bad advice that we have received, especially growing up here in the US, in my opinion, that doesn't often serve us and I think leads all of us astray. So, one piece of bad advice that has been coming up for me and for a lot of people recently is this advice that health is a destination that can only be achieved, like this like pedestal that we can only be on top of through the help of doctors and drugs. Don't get me wrong, I have seen my fair share of doctors. I have definitely taken drugs over the counter and not over the course of my life. But I think that advice steered me in the wrong direction a lot of times before I realized that it didn't work for me. That health wasn't this one place that was achieved only through doctors and drugs, that health actually is a journey and it's a constant journey. And I don't think we're ever done being on that journey, which can be a little frustrating sometimes. But I wanted to share how I discovered that this advice didn't work for me because it's something that's been coming up in conversation quite a bit recently. So, 17-year-old Ashna, more than 10 years ago, my graduation gift from my mom was laser hair removal all over my body, which, if you're a man, this probably doesn't mean much to you, or maybe it does. I don't know. To each her own. But it was one of the greatest gifts I could have asked for. I had struggled with getting hair off my body, as a lot of girls do. I used to do a lot of waxing. It didn't work for my body. It left a lot of black marks actually all over my legs, had a lot of ingrown hairs. Shaving also wasn't a great option for me. My hair came back really thick, really fast. I think from what I've picked up, that's just an Indian girl thing. I used to do this thing called the epilator, which is literally this device you rub on your skin and it pulls out each individual hairs. Does the job. Freaking painful. Very painful. Not my favorite thing. But anyways, laser hair removal felt like this beautiful boon that I had received from my mother. So I started in my senior year of high school, and then I would come back my freshman year of college on breaks or weekends or whatever to get extra sessions done. Well, it quickly became clear that the sessions were not working. My hair growth had slowed, but it kept coming back. And I believe it's been a while since I got laser hair removal done, but they used to say something like it takes an average of 6 sessions for your hair growth to stop. I had blown past that, 10, 11, 12, and my hair kept coming back. So my laser technician recommended I go see a gynecologist and get my hormones checked because she suspected it might be a hormonal thing. So went to the gynecologist, got my hormones checked. Mind you, my periods had been irregular, but I hadn't known there was anything wrong with that. I honestly hadn't even known to track my periods or that it was something that was important to me. Now I have learned periods are a huge marker for women of how we're feeling. Are we stressed? Are we regulated? Are we operating in a good way? I've learned when you bleed too much, it's a certain thing. When you don't bleed enough, it's a certain thing. So there is like a whole rabbit hole with the menstrual cycle that we are not taught, and we should be taught, especially as women. But anywho, so I go to the gynecologist, get all my hormones tested, and yes, I have hormonal imbalances. I got an ultrasound done. I had cysts on my ovaries, which I'm kind of confused about because I know women generally sometimes do have cysts on their ovaries, but that's a separate topic. And the hair growth. So these 3 check marks were 3 symptoms that my doctor told me meant I had polycystic ovary syndrome. Now, polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, is a very widespread thing in the US, maybe the world today. And the thing is, it's a syndrome, which means they don't exactly know what causes it or what it fully means. It's more so that when you have certain symptoms on a list of symptoms, they say, okay, you have like in my case, I had 3. Okay, you're diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome. No way to fix it. No way to solve it. You're going to be on meds forever. And the meds in this case were birth control. And I was also put on something called spirolactone, which is supposed to help with my hair growth, excess hair growth. And yeah, so that was that. That's what the doctor told me. You have this disease or syndrome, no way to cure it. You're going to be on meds forever. It might be hard for you to have a baby. It's going to be hard for you to get pregnant because you'll have to get off your birth control. Then your hormones will go crazy. And then, yeah, all these things. So little 17, 18-year-old me was like, okay, I guess I trust the doctors and the drugs. And when the doctors tell me there's no solution but to be on this drug, which to be honest isn't a real solution either, birth control is more so a regulator for the body versus actually, solving the core issue. It's a Band-Aid is how I would put it, right? Because it'll kind of keep the problem away. It'll regulate your hormones in a fake way, not in a real way. And sure, it might seemingly seem like, okay, like my periods are regular, everything's regular, but it's a Band-Aid because the second you take it off, you reveal how deep inside things have not actually shifted. But at the time, I didn't know any better. So anyways, I'm on birth control, getting my laser hair removal done still, and it's working a little bit, but I'm still having to do sessions. So it's not like it perfectly solved my issue with the hair removal. Then my mom's friend tells us that she has worked with this holistic doctor in New York City, and I should probably talk to him just to get a second opinion on what's going on. This man, in hindsight, changes my life. He tells me, of course there's a way to resolve this, and it's not called fixing the problem. It's called throwing everything out the door and starting to change your entire life. And we did this in the most slow way possible. I got off my meds. I started monitoring my period cycles. I started taking my temperature to see when exactly am I ovulating, what's going on with my body at any given time of the month. He told me I should cut out gluten and dairy because I took an allergy test and learned I was actually allergic to gluten. And which college kid avoids gluten? I mean, free pizzas at club meetings were my shit. So I started to make all these changes. We started talking about my mental health. Am I working out? Am I taking care of myself? And I will say, at the time, I did not value the information I was getting. This man was basically telling me that every part of my life needed balancing. And he didn't do it in this crazy, overwhelming way. And I guess part of what I'm sharing with you is what I've also picked up because I've done coaching certifications within holistic lifestyle coaching. I have lived this life that he was telling me would bring me the greatest resolution, I suppose. But anyways, so in college, I started very slowly fixing little parts of my life. Sorry, fixing is not the right word. Adjusting little parts of my life. And fast forward a couple of years to now, health is not... Wanting to be healthy is about switching your lifestyle. It's about eating the right things. What do I mean about the right things? Eating a well-balanced diet. None of that. I don't like salads. Honestly, I don't really like vegetables. I eat a lot of grass-fed meats. I eat a lot of whole foods. I've cut out a lot of processed foods. It's about sleeping well. I try to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep at night. I know that sounds crazy. Not always possible. Sometimes it's 6, 7. It's just, but the aim, the goal, I try to get movement in daily, and that doesn't always look like pushing myself to do HIIT workouts and Barry's workouts, which I have done. I've spent in my younger years, I loved Barry's. I used to go there a couple times a week before work in the mornings. It means taking care of my mental health. For me, that's being outside a lot, taking breaks, taking breaths, doing therapy, learning how to regulate my emotions and my feelings and not letting things fester inside of me, feeling my feelings. It means nourishing myself socially. It means nourishing myself, period. Taking those breaks for myself, not pushing myself to work too hard. Journaling. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but what I've learned And what actually helped me regulate my periods at the end of the day, regulate my hormones, and get rid of my hair was this idea of health. Health is a lifestyle. And it's not even about health. Wanting to feel good is a lifestyle. And just to get back to the story, so I worked with this guy. He kind of helped me. I started learning more and more on my own because there's just so much information out there. So I started reading books about what does it mean to live a good lifestyle. And eventually my hair growth stopped. I don't even go back to get laser touch-ups. I went to my gynecologist. This was my old gynecologist years ago, and she was shocked. She was so surprised. She's like, "You healed it? You fixed it? Your hormones are balanced?" Um I mean, if you've hung around, you know I had a miscarriage. So right now my periods are not, they're still getting back on the regular track. But my periods, I was down to a 28-day cycle. And for years, I hovered around 38 to 40 days, which is not abnormal if it's your normal. But obviously, they say like the 28-day cycle is supposed to be the best. I found that my periods synced with the full moon. So I was getting my periods with the full moon. And it's just when you take this holistic approach to living your life in the best way, so many good things happen. And I can't tell you beyond the story of my periods balancing and my hair growth going away, how much happiness I've been able to achieve. And it's not perfect. You know, I'm not going to say I'm not depressed, I'm not sad, bad things don't happen to me, I don't get sick. I do. But in my early 20s, I was getting sick all the time. I was not eating well. I was not necessarily taking care of myself well. And even though I was learning all this information, it took me years to synthesize it into my daily life, right? And the gains that I have seen, the clear skin, the energy levels, just the tools that I have picked up to know how to make myself feel better do not compare to how I was in my younger years. So this bad advice that I had received, and that I know a lot of other people have received, of health being this place that we're trying to reach through doctors and drugs, never served me. And instead, the good advice that I tell myself, that I share with other people, is this journey to health is it's a holistic journey that honestly we're always on, because our bodies are always changing, our needs are always changing. Sometimes I need to drink more water than I need to drink other times. Sometimes I crave more, I might be depleted in iron, or I'm on my period and I'm craving more red meat than I crave during other times. I think there is just so much more to health than we've been taught, and it almost feels like we've been robbed sometimes. But I am honestly living proof to show you that it works, and it may take years and it may take a lot of commitment, but you will get there. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I am chock full of bad advice that I've received and how it has helped me over the years, and how I've just achieved at times states that I never thought I would achieve. And once again, life is not perfect, but it's the challenges and the obstacles that show us how to make it even more perfect. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.